Hello, YouTube. We start with Professor Angelo Poni in Sierra Leone, West Africa, who discovered something very unusual in a diamond mine back in 1990. You see, that year, this Italian geologist named Angelo Poni was visiting Sierra Leone in the vicinity of the border with Guinea-Conakry to verify if a certain region of the country known as Kono was indeed a rich deposit of diamonds that could be exploited by the company that had employed him and sought to obtain the concession of exploitation in exchange for building a number of houses for the government. While studying the region, Angelo Poni came across an incredible discovery. In an area between Sierra Leone and Conakry, after removing a few inches of soil, a Fula chief showed Poni one of the most mysterious stones Poni had come across in his career. A blue stone with mysterious white lines on its surface. Poni named it the Sky Stone, and upon further research, specialists came to the conclusion that there is no other explanation for its composition other than it is made out of pure oxygen, which was given color by an unknown agent. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. The tribal chief told Poni an ancient legend, which, according to him, explains why the area was so rich in diamonds. Poni examined the mysterious rock and thought it was some kind of a very pure turquoise, but it is known that there are always some kind of impurities with this blue, while this blue mysterious stone was pure. After returning to Europe, Poni took the blue stone to the Institute of Natural Sciences of Geneva and the University La Sapienza in Rome for further analysis. To his surprise, tests showed that the stone was not a turquoise, and it wasn't even officially catalogued. The blue stone he had discovered not only did not correspond to any known mineral, but the same material was also recently located in Morocco by a British geologist. The most intriguing thing is that the color of the mineral is not justified by the composition of the stone. Researchers do not understand from what the stone obtains its tonality, even though several universities and laboratories have analyzed the artifact. Apparently, all of them have failed to answer where the color comes from. Quite mysteriously, at the University of Utrecht, the stone underwent several tests with acids, but none of the acids managed to damage or modify the stone. It was heated to 3000 degrees Celsius, and its composition was unaltered. The most interesting part is that when a small piece of the stone was pulverized and viewed under the microscope, it had no color. So far, the only thing researchers know is that it has not been made by nature, and it has not originated on Earth. Some researchers believe that this mysterious blue stone was actually manufactured by an advanced civilization that has been lost in history. I believe this is what Poni also wrote about in his book. I've seen it, but it wasn't in English. I think it was in Spanish. I saw just the cover of it. But in my videos that I have presented to you, by now you know that there are numerous findings, discoveries across the planet that really cannot be explained yet. Well, this mysterious blue stone or sky stone is most likely one of them. And it was not easy to find the information I am presenting to you, and I had to go through a number of international sources. And I wish I had more sources, but I will tell you what I know. One of the analyses that deepened the mystery of the sky stone, as it has been called, is when a fragment of the stone was subjected to rigorous examination to determine the composition of the stone and the respective proportions? Well, according to the analysis, 77.17% of the stone was made of oxygen. The remaining percentage is divided between carbon, 11.58 per 100, silicon, 6.39 per 100, calcium, 3.31 per 100, and other elements whose presence was almost anecdotal. But how can oxygen make up a stone? Further tests performed in Spain by several laboratories where this enigmatic sky stone underwent 5 different kinds of tests: X-ray analysis, plasma spectrometry, gas chromatography, mass spectrometry, and finally infrared spectrometry, yielding more mysterious results that left researchers basically clueless. In preliminary tests with X-rays, it was determined that the blue stone was composed mainly of calcium hydroxide, calcium carbonate, and calcium silicate. But mysteriously, none of this were able to explain how the stone obtained its incredible blue color. Scientists speculated that copper or another transition material could be responsible for the tone, but they were unable to detect any material in sufficient quantities to confirm their theory. The plasma spectrometry analysis reduced the oxygen level to 50 in 100 or 55 in 100 at most, which apparently is normal for any rock. More mysteries popped up when the stone was submitted to gas chromatography, which tried to locate an organic compound in the rock, looking for some sort of ink that gave the stone its blue color. Researchers decided to crush one piece of the rock and mixed it with acetone, hexane, and methylene, and enhanced the extractions with ultrasound. Finally, researchers were able to detect an organic compound that was unknown to science. The sky stone does in fact have a non-mineral element in its composition, but it does not reveal much since it is unknown. The organic compound present in the sky rock is believed to be between 15,000 to 55,000 years old. According to Poni, mass spectrometry revealed the chemical composition of the material and its molecular formula, which remains unknown to science. It was ruled out that the sky stone was a fraud, since the molecular formula of it cannot be traced back to anything we know on Earth. So what is the mysterious blue stone? Is it in fact an artifact left behind by an advanced civilization? Or is it possible that somehow this extraordinary stone is nothing more but an ordinary stone which scientists did not get to study properly? The main question is, where is the stone today? I do not know. The stone is a complete mystery to this day, regardless if you believe the oxygen theory or not. What is indisputable is that the fact that it is unlike anything we have ever seen before. And that's Africa for you. From my own experiences, I can tell you there's quite a lot on that continent we really still don't know about and have yet much more to discover. But back to Angelo Poni. He was a man of many talents. He was a botanist, an agronomist, but most of all, I understand he was a geologist. Also, I understand he had a number of adventures, if we can put it this way, in Latin America, in his scientific research. But it wasn't easy to find out details. He had made other discoveries in his time. Emeralds, gold mines, and more were all part of his life at that point already. But he had never expected to come into contact with such an incredible mystery as he did in Africa, from my understanding. Unfortunately, though, he did not live to find out everything that was to that discovery, because he passed away in 2009. And with him, the answers to the secrets he spoke about were buried with him. But one secret is too big to disappear from the face of the earth. And it also has connection to the blue stones. You see, a huge stone statue of a woman is located in West Africa, in Guinea, on the slope of Mountain Lur. Someone may say that this is just a figment of imagination and the rock took the shape of a woman's head by accident. Who knows? But this statue has a very interesting, even legendary story. The name is Dame of Mali, and it was discovered not if you think about it, not that long ago, in 2001, by the Italian geologist Angelo Poni. From a distance, the sculpture almost completely merges with the rock, and only when you get closer, you can see the relief protruding from the stone. The height of the head alone reaches 25 meters, and the total height is about 150 meters. In addition, the statue is located more than 1.5 kilometers above the ground. It is very difficult to get to the foot of the mountain with relief. That is why most of the pictures of the Lady of Mali show her in profile, and from this angle the sculpture looks like an unusual shape, but a natural rock. However, the full face figure is much better visible. Both facial features and flowing clothes are perfectly visible. The headdress is also clearly visible with a drape around the face, but the face itself does not resemble either an African or European in its features. According to Pitoni's research, and to him as a geologist, only geological dating of the rock was available. The age of the Dame or Lady of Mali is at least 12,000 years old. It is a significant time period. And if we believe it, and I do not, the Great Pyramid is only 4,500 years old. So if you compare, this statue in West Africa is much older. At the same time, Poni proved that the rock itself had experienced significant fluctuations in the soil, and perhaps the statue was originally located much closer to the ground. Moreover, there was once a large reservoir at the foot of the cliff. No one knows what kind of people lived in these places in ancient times. Maybe we will one day, but we need advanced archaeology to do the research, and it doesn't seem to be likely. There's not enough money for archaeology. But these people undoubtedly possess the highest level of technological development because the Lady of Mali is carved from solid granite. Of course, the age and quality of the material make many scientists strongly doubt the man-made figure. In addition, no traces of human habitation have yet been found near Mount Lura. Large settlements, or at least maybe primitive ones, interesting, it was originally plastered and had a blue color. Over time, the plaster crumbled, although in some places it still remained on the statue. The interesting fact is that below the statue there is a system of natural caves which are considered sacred by many generations of Guineans. Some grottos are even used by them to this day for the burial of the dead. The local people, they also have a legend about this Lady of Mali. One day, the gods decided to thank people for their reverence and dropped many stars on the earth, which immediately turned into diamonds. But in return, they took to themselves the most beautiful woman, the young wife of the ruler. She was turned into stone in order to vigilantly guard the wealth of her people. Although Mount Lura is geographically located in Guinea, the statue faces its homeland, Mali. There is another legend that is popular in the neighboring country of Sierra Leone. It says that some divine beings once rebelled and were thrown down from heaven by the supreme deity. But when they fell to the ground, they turned not into devils, but into beautiful blue stones. So we're back to the stones. Poni found such stones in the diamond deposits. He claimed that these were not natural formations, but something like unusual pieces of plaster, the chemical composition of which could not be reproduced in terrestrial conditions. That is, these stones are nothing but a completely material petrified piece of the firmament, split into many fragments. It's very beautiful, but some people think unlikely. By the way, Lady Mali was once covered with such plaster. I don't know the source of this information, but I've seen it more than once. These very blue stones and the associated legends about the stone maiden or woman led geologist Poni to a rock with a blue stint 7 kilometers from the town of Maliville. That's when the image of this gigantic lady of Mali opened up to him. Well, apparently none of the academic scientists accepted Petoni's reasoning, and the only representative of official science who decided to look at the Lady of Mali was the director of one of the Guinean museums, but he also preferred to keep his impressions to himself, deciding not to take part in discussions on this topic. Apparently, Poni himself has not been able to attract proper attention to his finding. There's another account I found, and I want to present here. There is an unusual find made by Italian geologist Angelo Poni. He was in Guinea, in the Sierra Leone region, closer to the city of Mali, engaged in diamond mining there in 2001. Quite by chance, he heard a legend from the locals about a beautiful maiden who was punished and turned to stone. And so a rock was discovered, on top of which a giant stone head of a beautiful girl with a crown or something like a headdress on her head was clearly visible. She also had a neck and an indistinct upper torso. Angelo Poni discovered Mount Lur, whose height is slightly higher than the height of the pyramids of Cheops and Khafre, 150 meters. The woman's huge head is 25 meters high. Her profile emerges from afar but becomes clearly distinguishable up close. But it is difficult to get closer to the stone maiden because of the difficult terrain. And therefore, most of the pictures of this lady are taken in profile. Although, as eyewitnesses say, in profile you can decide that it's just a rock with such a bend. Some even believe that this is the case, a bizarre rock and a play of light and shadow. But as eyewitnesses say, not only the facial features and the crown are clearly visible in full face, but also the flowing clothing. The headdress itself is clearly visible, but the most interesting thing about this girl's appearance is that she has strange facial features. It is difficult to understand what kind of people this girl can be attributed to. She doesn't look at all like an African woman or a European woman. Now, Angelo Poni assumed that the age of the statue could be at least 12,000 years old. That is according to Plato. Atlantis still existed at that time. So, who is the creator of the statue? If you believe the legend, then the statue was created by the gods, and it does not matter that they, for example, used magic to turn a living girl into a statue, or one of them sculpted her in a huge rock. In any case, if we agree that with what history says, primitive people of the Holocene era were hardly able to create this statue. It should be added that in our time, with a lot of technology, modern technology, it would be almost impossible to create such an image in its place. As for Angelo Poni himself, who had discovered the African statue, he had an opinion. Here, in those distant times, there lived an advanced civilization that could be compared with the ancient Egyptian one. So, and by the way, it was he who named the statue the Lady or Dame of Mali. So, we know that scientists generally don't agree. Some attribute this phenomenon to pareidolia, believing that the rock acquired its unusual shape from the erosive effects of precipitation and winds. This may be true, but it is worth noting that at the base of the rock there is a system of caves and grottos, which are considered to be sacred by the Guineans, and the dead are buried there. In an interview with journalist Carmen Machado, Poni said that the statue is located to the north of the city of Conakry and close enough to the country's borders of Mali. Look at the map I have attached if you're ever interested to go and do your own exploration. Guinea, officially the Republic of Guinea, is a country in West Africa. Mount Lura, Fellow Lura in the Pular language, is the northernmost point and the highest peak at 1,573 meters in the Fouta Djallon in northern Guinea. It is 7 kilometers from the prefecture of Maliville. It is part of a complex of mountains called the Massif de Tamg, which rises to steep cliffs on 3 sides and provides views into Senegal and Mali. Fouta Djallon consists mainly of rolling grasslands at an average elevation of 900 meters. The highest point, Mount Lura. The plateau consists of thick sandstone formations that overlie granitic basement rock. Erosion by rain and rivers has carved deep jungle, canyons, and valleys into sandstone. This is what I wanted to let you know today. It's a complicated and interesting story, or maybe I should say 2 stories, and definitely more would be welcome in terms of research. And I'll bring you more information about Africa as well. If you can support my research, I ask that you please do so, and you can find links in description to this video. Please tell others about my research. Please like my videos and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.